is so good to see you. Before we dive into it, I think people need to see how you say good morning to your plants. Take a look.
Good morning, good morning. How the hell are you? Good morning to you.
Oh, I love how your baby boy, I love that kid, got into the shot as well. Very cute, but I heard, Viv, that you have cut down on the amount of plant babies you have in your life. Do tell.
Yes, Tracy, I started out with 57 plants.
Wow.
And then I got down, I'm down to 17 now because, you know, I was using them to cope with the pandemic. But then what I started to realize was that plants were teaching me not to overcomplicate things, you know, and to really pay attention. Once I really started to pay attention to the plants and you know, what they actually needed and not what I needed them to need, my relationship with them changed. Yeah, I started to pay more attention to what they needed. And some of them, Tracy, actually a lot of them didn't need to be in my house.
This is what you learned, right? So it's the mindfulness of it all. So that's really interesting. Give us some advice for plant parents to be out there about how we can be a little bit more mindful about choosing our plants, because plants are hot, but they are not all meant to be in our house, right? So give us some tips on that.
No. Well, you know, choosing a plant can be intimidating, right? So, you know, obviously they don't need as much care or attention as, you know, pets or human children. But, you know, you don't need to take them for walks. You don't need to, you can leave them for days. You can go on vacation, you know, for the most part, and they'll still be okay. But you do need to pay attention to them in order for them to thrive and flourish. So before you start going to buy all the plants that you're seeing on social media, I want you to do some research first, okay? It's research. So you have to be mindful of what you're inviting into your home. I know for me, you know, you need to ask experts. So the people at the greenhouse, use Google, even use an app that will tell you if that plant that you really want will actually fit into your home, into your lifestyle, and into the level of commitment. And other things you want to consider. You want to consider the amount of sunlight that your house gets. Other things you need to consider are the other living beings that live in your house, like your partner, your kids, or in your pets, because, you know, not all plants are pet friendly. And you also need to consider the size of the plant. Like, do you know that, you know, rubber trees can get up to 6 feet tall? I didn't know that, and I found that out the hard way. And then, you know, most importantly, you need to look at your plant parenting lifestyle. So are you a helicopter plant parent, or are you a buy it and forget it kind of plant mama? Right? So you need to be mindful of what your plant needs, and you need to carve out time in your schedule in order to meet those needs. You know, if you're not ready to be a plant mama or a plant papa, then I would stick to flowers.
Oh my gosh, that was advice for me. I felt that and it hurt. So Frankie tells us this all the time. When you go to the plant place, ask the folks there. Like, you ask the people there, they will let you know if it's going to work with your lifestyle. Give me an example of some very easy, low maintenance plants that people can maybe start with if they want to be a plant parent.
Like for me, Aglonema, okay, aka Chinese evergreen. These are the plants that you actually see at the mall. So quick tip, if you see a plant at the mall, it's good. And it comes in a wonderful variety of different colors. We've also got pothos, so that's that long viney plant. This plant doesn't have to be put into soil. You can actually put a container of water and just, you know, have it in water, but you can't go from soil to water or water to soil. And then we've got ZZ plants. So ZZ plants, this is my bought it and forgot it plant, because it only needs water once a month and it flourishes on its own. And then you've got the other plants that are like multi-purpose, like aloe vera for skincare, or even basil for cooking.
Yeah, I love that. So they're functional as well as gorgeous in the home. So we saw you singing to the plants. You've told us to really take stock of who we are and stop being delusional about who we are when it comes to these plants. Any other hot tips you can give us, Viv, for being like a good and like not an absentee parent, a good plant parent?
You know what? One of my hot Viv tips is to name a plant after you. Okay, so because when you talk to it and when you feed it love, water, light, you are telling yourself those things that you need.
That's very sweet. I remember you telling us this at the height of the pandemic, and I think it still very much holds true. You got another hot tip as well, something you put in your plants that I would never think to do, like you're making them special food. What do you put into your plants?
So, after I wash my rice, yes, you should wash your rice. That water that's left over, I use that as fertilizer, or even I marinate banana peels in water, and I use that as fertilizer. It's organic and sustainable.
Very interesting. So that starchy water is very good for your plants. So we thought, let's look at the science behind this. Frankie's with us. Okay, Frankie, so using something like rice water or banana peel, fermented banana peel, what does that do for the plants? Does it work?
Yeah, it does work. So if you think about rice, he's talking about starch, you can actually use potato water too. After you've done boiling your potatoes, you can use the same. There's full of micronutrients, you can use that. Even when you boil your eggs, the eggshells will put calcium into the water, so that helps out as well. Banana peel is potassium. So not only just marinating, even outdoors, if you plant a banana peel underneath a rose, you'll see the rose does better because it's general health of the plant. So there's so many different ways that we can be even more sustainable. Why put it down the drain? Just let it sit, let it cool. Don't do it when it's too hot.
Really great tips, and I love the love and I love the self-care that's involved in all of it. I think I've realized I'm a better plant auntie or uncle. Maybe a godmother than a mom. That's my role. I babysit. You know, every 6